Hello and welcome to HCS Golf and today's review in a very dark and cold UK in winter over here. Now, as the review's been released today on the Friday, can only one thing note, and it's a brand new club to brighten up your day. And it's a club that I've been wanting to get my hands on for ages. So these have been released in the US, but they haven't been released over here in the UK. Now, I actually bought one of the same brand clubs or the driver back, so I went on holiday to Florida. But I managed to get the putter over here in the second-hand market. Now, the reason I really wanted to try the putter was because of this. Yes putters. Look at this, a Millie Yes putter. Now, these were the rage in the early 2010s. You know, they're very popular. A lot of tour players had them in their bag. I mean, Max Fitzpatrick was playing Yes putter only until 2021 when he signed with Bettinardi. And then Bettinardi, I believe that's how you pronounce it. Apologies if I have pronounced it wrong. And then they actually made him a Yes putter pretty much for him to use just with their name on it. They were very, very popular. And what happened to them is they went bust, got bought by Adams, which at the time was a very good sort of hybrid brand, you know, really, really popular again on tour, which got brought out by TaylorMade in 2014 because TaylorMade wanted all the technology in their clubs. And then TaylorMade stopped the brand. Now, last year, Adams got brought back because, you know, TaylorMade wanted a sort of a budget brand to compete against, you know, those direct-to-consumer clubs. However, believe me, those clubs have nothing budget about them. I tried the driver. It's really, really good, especially for the price. And they also brought back the putters. However, they didn't bring back the name yet, which I'm really disappointed about. I think because they realised if they did that, they probably would have lost so much market for our own putters. Because let's be honest, the only popular sort of TaylorMade putter really is the Spider. But they did bring back the technology, the C Groove, technology. And that is what I have today. So just put that Yes one back. If you're interested about that Yes putter, I will be doing a review of it in a couple of weeks. I can imagine I'll be putting it against this putter in the versus video as well, again in a couple of weeks in the new year. So do remember to hit that subscribe button and hit the bell icon so you don't miss that when it does come out. Going back to this video, there we go. So it's this. They brought this out. Two models of the C Groove. So in my mind, a Yes putter. The Yes putters are back and I'm thrilled about it. Look at that C Groove. Beautiful. However, they kept the name, so the Adams name. They didn't bring back the Yes name, as I mentioned, which is a bit disappointing. But they released two of these putters. They released a Mission, and the other name of the other one, I can't remember off the top of my head, but it was basically a bladed putter. So you've only got two options though. And no sort of, but basically this is it. There's no hosel adjustment or anything like this. This is the putter. But let's be honest, it looks very, very good. And if it performs anything like a Yes putter did, have TaylorMade shot themselves at the foot a little bit when it comes down to this video, well, this club, sorry. And that's what we're going to find out in this video. There you go. I'm getting all my words muddled up today. Anyway, so yeah, really want to get my hands on it because, you know, massive fan of Yes, and I wanted to see if this performed just as good as the Yes putters did as old. So what we're going to do is always, we're going to have a closer look at the club, then we're going to come back here, go through the technology that's in it, then we're going to get down to the range, not to the range, sorry. So all my other videos when we're testing like drivers behind me, etc. We're going to get down onto the course because I did take this down to the course. I actually took one of my local courses, Hersham. Basically talk through what I found while playing with this club, and then we're going to come back here and go through the HCS Golf Scale. All right, first things first, let's have a look, and let's be honest, it's a very attractive fang putter here. All right, see you back in a bit. So there you go. And I think it's a great looking putter. I really do. And it doesn't look budget. Remember this Adams was brought back as a sort of budget brand, direct to consumer by TaylorMade to compete against, you know, your likes of, I don't know, Cali, etc. but there's nothing that looks budget about this putter. You know, the finish on it is very, very good. The writing on it's very good. You know, the filling in with paint is very good. Again, nothing screams budget about this putter. It really doesn't. Maybe the grip. I mean, this one's actually been replaced, sorry, by Super Stroke. The original was a Lambkin cross grip, which I'm not a massive fan of. But you can just replace that for cheap. So there you go. Again, doesn't really matter. And when it comes down to the head cover, it doesn't look budget at all, does it? With the stitching there, the feel of it. A lot of padding inside it. Would prefer it maybe fluffy, but it's pretty cool with the AG logo inside it. So again, you know, you've got the C groove there on the bottom. Nothing budget about it. Magnet as well. This putter just doesn't scream budget, even though the price states it is. So going through the technology and all the spiel, I'm going to read it off Adam's website now for you. So you'll be pumped every time you take the head covers off a Mission putter. They look sleek and they perform beautifully, and those are just the aesthetics. The performance is not to be overlooked. These putters show and prove. Built to play, so see you on tour. So there you go. The C Groove putters racked up multiple major championships and PGA Tour wins. It did when it was with Yes. They were winning left, right, and centre. Real shame that they died off, but great to see them back. The milled face helps you zero in on the club's sweet spot, so it's easier for you to get a few wins of your own. Perfect. Who doesn't want that? Ready to roll, you get less bounce and more roll with our putters, and you'll know you nailed it by the clean sound and the feel of the club. It's almost as satisfying as the sweet sound of sinking it in the hole. Oh, it's just screaming all the right words here, isn't it? Dare to stare. The rich matte black finish. This is a very nice finish. So on the bottom, it's not matte black on the bottom. But on the top, they've done a matte black to stop glare, which is really good, which they've said here. Then reduce glare on the club as you're lining up your putt. It's also a huge confidence boost when you've got a club this sleek peeking out of your bag. It is a good looking club. It doesn't scream budget at all. It really doesn't. It really is a nice looking club. Specs, not a huge amount of difference you could do with it. You know, lengthwise, you're going to get right hand or left hand, obviously. Length, sorry, is 34 inches, 35 inches. Loft, 2.5 degrees. Lie, 70. And hosel is just a single bend. And the head weight is 360 grams. So not a lot of options there, basically. Basically, this is it. Unlike a lot of other putters where, you know, you can do this, you can do that, you can do this. Which, you know, I don't mind. I think sometimes it can be so complicated now with getting the right putter, getting the right hosel, getting the right weight, that sometimes you're so concentrated on that, you're not actually concentrating on the putter itself. So it can, especially for a beginner golfer, become really overwhelming. So for something like this, just to be like, look, here you go, use it, you either like it or you don't, I think it's really good, to be fair. I do like that. I think sometimes you really can just disappear in options, but that's just personally me. You know, when it comes down to putting, I think, you know, if you like a putter, you like a putter. You know, I could have something that's got exactly the same shape, maybe exactly the same weight, but looks slightly different. I just don't like the eye of it, and I can't putt with it. So, yes, it's interesting thought. And as I mentioned with the grip, you know, it's a Lambkin deep-edged black and navy and yellow grip, which I wouldn't have been a fan of anyway, but they have changed it. And I say that TaylorMade all use Lambkin grips. I've got one of their brand new spanking one here, TaylorMade, got a bit of fluff on it, Lambkin grip deep edge. So there you go. So using exactly the same type of grip that they would do in their premium putter, because that's their premium putter, that is one of their more expensive versions. So exactly the same grip as the TaylorMade normal putters there. So there you go. There's all the sort of technology and spiel about this club. You know, personally wise, weight wise, I think it's really good. Shaft doesn't say anything on it, just has a label for Adams, but it is, you know, a step shaft. It's just a really nice looking putter that doesn't scream budget. Really doesn't. I'm going to say that so many times in this video. Doesn't scream budget, doesn't scream budget. Anyway, let's get down to the golf course now. I'm going to talk to you my feelings and findings about this club, and then we're going to come back here for the HS Golf Scale. All right, see you in a bit.
So here I am down at Hersham on a very cold winter's day. Also, the greens have just been aerated, so you'll see a lot of the bobbling around of the ball, which has nothing to do with the putter. Unfortunately, it's just the greens on the day. Now, getting into the figures, so I actually putted 33 times with this club, only 3 putted once. So with the actual, well, sort of state of the greens, I'm actually really quite happy with that, to be fair. You'll also see on a few holes on here that I'll have an extra ball out. That's because it's just slow play. So, you know, even more testing for it. But generally, not bad performance at all. Now, if I go into what I think about this club, like, firstly, I think it's really easy to align, which is great, even though it is that sort of smaller mallet. The feel of it is really nice. You know, that C grooves, when I did find a bit of green that was untouched and actually rolling true, you know, the ball rolled really well, like end over end. You know, I was really happy with it, to be honest. Felt really confident with it near when I was really close up to the hole. Long putts, distance control was pretty good, I would say, such as this one here. Let's just have a quick look at this and see how this turns out. I'm pretty sure it turns out well off the top of my head, but let's just see. So there you go. Even with these bobbly greens, look at that. Just missed it for a birdie chance, but again, you know, really happy with that distance control there and the roll itself. So things to note about the putter, you know, and the actual sort of feel of it. If you remember the Yes putters from back in the day, you know, they weren't the softest feeling putters, to be honest. You know, they were firm on soft, I would say, with those C grooves on them. And exactly the same for this, to be fair. You know, it's not hard, but it's definitely not soft. It's more sort of in the middle there, which I sort of expect from this type of putter. You know, I wouldn't say this is, you know, from carbon steel or whatever, you know, the really pricey Scotty Camerons make them from, that make them sort of feel like amazingly soft. You know, obviously those materials aren't potentially in this putter, but still feel was very nice with those C grooves on it. You know, something that I could really get behind. You know, sometimes having the softest putter out there isn't necessarily helpful because it makes distance control quite difficult, but in this case, you know, it was really good. So yeah, can't complain about it. Here I am just redoing another hole. Obviously counted the first one as a tap-in, but just thought I'd, you know, practice the putting, which you should always do when you're out on the golf course by yourself if you have the chance. You know, always keep on practicing. That's the way you get better. So yeah, so the feel of it, you know, as I mentioned, you know, it is that sort of firmer feel, but again, you know, I really quite liked it. You know, the alignment of it was great as well. You know, you can pump it, which in that case you just saw me do there, which this is the 3 putter. Off the green, so technically you could say maybe it wasn't 3 putts, but, you know, we'll say it's still 3 putts, as I mentioned earlier. But, you know, really happy with the performance of it. Let's see if I get this one in. Nope, and I definitely think I would have got that in if the green was actually playing true and fair. So really happy with it. You know, a lot of these putts where I had them, they weren't necessarily quite offline. You know, a lot of them were properly online and just unfortunately just didn't quite drop because of the green. There was a few bobbles here and there, but you know, overall, I think this putter is a really good putter. I think, you know, it's not a budget putter in my mind. With those C grooves, the feel of it, the looks of it, it's very much a putter that anyone can put in a bag and can perform against the best out there. It's really nice to see the brand back.
There you go. Not bad result at all, to be fair. You know, really good fun using this. Obviously, a bit of a shame with the aerated greens. You know, the ball was bouncing out a little bit more than you would hope. You know, having those little holes, but that's nothing to do with the putter. It's definitely down to those greens. And I took my lab putter out a couple of days after that, exactly same issue. Would have hit a nice putt and it just bubble, 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 but nothing to do with the putter itself. But I have taken this out since on the putting range as well, you know, to get even more of a feel of it because I just think it's definitely worth that extra sort of testing. And believe me, I'm really pleased with it. Really was, as I mentioned, you know, during that video there. You know, really happy with the performance. You know, good distance control, felt great, inspired confidence, looks good. You know, really easy to align. You know, everything about this putter just really, really good. So let's get into the ACS Golf Scale. Remember, we have distance, feel, looks, price, and forgiveness. 5 being the best, 1 being the worst. With a putter, distance-wise, it's sort of more distance control over distance. I'm not going to tee this off and see how far I can get it down the fairway. It'll probably just top it about 5 yards in front of me if I tried that. But yeah, so distance control. So let's go into distance control. First one, 4 out of 5. I thought distance control of this was very good. I found it quite easy to get it close to the hole. Even though my testing wouldn't necessarily have got it past the hole each time, it's probably because it's maybe a little bit with the weight on here, maybe just not quite the balance I personally want. So it feels the head feels a little bit lighter than I want. But remember, this is winter now, so the ball's going to be harder to get to that hole because it's going to be a lot slower anyway, especially the greens I was playing at the time. So I think it was pretty good. So yeah, 4 out of 5. I definitely think, something I can definitely dial in and get even better if I wanted to, and I wanted to put this in the bag. To be honest, I'm impressed with it. And when I wasn't bobbling around with all those little dimples and aerated holes on the greens, the roll was really good. It was just like the Yes putters I'd tried before. Really nice, beautiful roll. That C groove technology really does work. Really cool. So yeah, so can't complain about that. Feel, 4 out of 5, quite soft with that, that C groove milling there. But still a little quite firm. Definitely not the softest putter I've tried recently. Not soft as the Labs I've been trying, and not soft, maybe it's got Camerons or more really premium brands. But sometimes some people prefer that. Had that little bit more firmness, which definitely means you could potentially get a little bit more control with it. So yeah, 4 out of 5. Nothing sort of horrible about it, but it's definitely not the softest out there. Which being the fact that it's that milled face, I probably would expect that. I mean, the Yes putters personally, I didn't think were the softest out there either. They're a bit more firmer than your sort of milled face putters, but again, still felt really quite nice. Yeah, 4 out of 5. Looks, I've given this a solid 4.5 out of 5. Now, the reason I've only given it a 4.5 out of 5 and not a 5, I think the face of it is beautiful with that C there, and you've got milling around the actual C grooves as well, which I think is a nice little touch from TaylorMade, and obviously that white line around it. It's really cool. Sorry, TaylorMade? Adams. Sorry, by Adams. Around it, the white line and limonade is really cool. The Adams Adams there as well is cool. The issue I have is the bottom of it. I know they've done it obviously to save weight, but because they've got this sort of platform and it goes back in, that's the only reason I'm giving it a 4.5 out of 5, because that's just going to get dirty and it's going to be a pain to clean. It's the only reason. Only reason it hasn't been given a 5 out of 5. Yeah, I don't think it looks bad either. I just think it's going to be a pain to clean. And I do love that head cover. Very, very cool. Moving on to forgiveness. Obviously, the C grooves help with the roll up I mentioned has been very good. Remember, this isn't the biggest mallet putter. I'd say this is more mid-size. This Fang putter definitely seen a lot bigger. So when you do look down at it, don't, well, if you want a really big mallet, you're not going to like this because it is that little bit smaller. Personally, for me, I think it's the perfect size. But because obviously it's not the huge ultra forgiving mallets, there is a little bit of forgiveness that can be lost with it. So I've given forgiveness 4 out of 5. I still think forgiveness is very good. I think for this size it's very good. And it seems really well balanced, that head, to be fair. When I was really concentrating on my strokes, I think it performed really, really well. There wasn't any glaring things where the head was turning too much or anything like that. Is it as well balanced as my lab putter? No. But then you're talking about a £500 putter which is being specifically made to be the most balanced thing in the world. But I thought it was very good, it was very reasonable, and it was very easy to use. And that's the important thing when it comes down to putters, very easy to use. So yeah, if you hit it in the middle, 4 out of 5. There's a few times maybe I didn't quite get it in the middle, and it definitely stayed true. But with when mallets, they tend to just go a little bit left or right. So there was maybe 1 or 2 misses because of it. But yeah, 4 out of 5. It is a mallet putter, well, mid mallet putter, and with these C grooves, you're definitely going to get enough forgiveness for it. So there you go. Now moving on to price. So price, I'm giving this a 5 out of 5 because it's an absolute steal. $169 this is going for in the US. That's about 135, off Adam's website. I've seen it on PGA Tour stores in the US. It's going for under $100. and that's £79, £80. It is an absolute bargain. So 5 out of 5. I think the price of this is excellent because, as I've mentioned, there's nothing budget about this putter. The price is, but the rest of it isn't. So there you go. There's the ACS Golf Scale for Adam's Sea Groove Mission Putter. So overall thoughts about this putter, I think it's amazing. I'm really happy they brought it back. I love the Sea Grooves. I love that Yes putter vibes from it because, let's be honest, it is Yes, and it's an absolute joy to hit. You know, guys, so I think if you loved Yes and you get your hands on one of these, do. You'll love it. You'll really enjoy it. And let me know down in the comments down below, you know, do you play with a Yes putter? If you do, let me know. You know, how do you get on with it? You know, would you consider changing it up for this Adam putter? I'd be really intrigued to know. And also, give this video a like if you enjoyed it. And do remember to subscribe to the channel for weekly ACS golf reviews. So yeah, so give it a like this video if you enjoyed it, and do remember to hit that subscribe button so you do not miss out on weekly ACS golf reviews. Alright guys, I'll see you soon for the next ACS golf video. Right, see you then. Bye bye.